Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're cracking the code on the FREC I, the Florida Real Estate Sales Associate exam. If you're gearing up to get your real estate license down in the Sunshine State, well, you are in the exact right place. We're going to completely decode those strict state statutes and the administrative rules that you absolutely have to know, not just to conquer this test and launch your career, but honestly to protect the public once you're out there selling.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Just imagine for a second, opening your score report and staring at this painful reality. Seeing a 68 staring back at you when you desperately needed a 75 to pass. Ouch, right? Acknowledging that kind of heartbreak is super important because, well, it grounds us in reality. This is not just some breezy test of general real estate knowledge. It is a rigorous, demanding legal exam. The stakes are incredibly high. And understanding exactly how the state tests your knowledge of the law, that is literally the only way to turn that failing score into a solid pass. So where exactly do you need to focus your energy to grab that 75? Because you definitely don't want to just study blindly. Take a look at these heavy-hitting categories straight from the candidate information booklet. You've got real estate brokerage activities making up 12% of your exam. Contracts, that's another 12%. And then property rights, which, by the way, is exactly where you're going to run into those really tricky concepts like encumbrances, easements, and liens. That makes up 8%. Mastering just these specific sections gives you a massive advantage. So we're going to target these exact high-yield concepts today. Now let's see how this all translates to actual law, specifically Chapter 475 of the Florida statutes. A huge, and I mean huge, part of the exam revolves around authorized brokerage relationships. So picture yourself sitting at a listing appointment. You basically have two main choices. As a single agent, you represent either the buyer or the seller as a fiduciary. That means you owe them absolute, undivided loyalty. But on the flip side, as a transaction broker, you're only providing limited representation. You don't represent anyone in a fiduciary capacity at all, meaning the parties are literally giving up their rights to your undivided loyalty in exchange for you facilitating the deal. Now, what's really interesting about this next point is that to master it, you actually need to burn the exact statutory definition of a fiduciary right into your memory. State law says it plain as day. The duties of the broker as a fiduciary are loyalty, confidentiality, obedience, full disclosure and accounting, and the duty to use skill, care, and diligence. It's a mouthful, I know. But here's a quick memory trick for you. To remember the duties strictly reserved for single agents, just think of the acronym COLD. C-O-L-D. That stands for confidentiality, obedience, loyalty, and disclosure. So if an exam question tries to trip you up and asks what a transaction broker does not have to do, just remember they leave you out in the cold. Moving on, handling someone else's money, well, that requires absolute perfection. Let's say a deal falls apart. It happens, and both the buyer and the seller are demanding the earnest money deposit. On day one of those conflicting demands, a strict, ticking countdown begins. You have exactly 15 business days to notify the Florida Real Estate Commission in writing. Then, within 30 business days from that very first initial demand, the broker has to institute a settlement procedure, something like mediation or litigation. Missing these precise deadlines isn't just a super quick way to fail your exam. Honestly, out in the real world, it can cost you your entire career.
And let me tell you, the Florida Real Estate Commission, they do not mess around when it comes to punishing bad behavior. Under Rule 61J2-24's disciplinary guidelines, if an agent engages in fraud, false promises, or concealment, the hammer comes down incredibly hard. We're talking about administrative fines of up to $5,000 per individual violation, escalating all the way up to permanent license revocation. The exam will definitely test your understanding of these consequences, so please take them seriously. But wait. What actually happens to the consumer if some rogue licensee causes them severe financial harm and, worse, has absolutely no money to pay a court judgment? Well, there's a critical number you need to lock into your brain right now. $50,000. This is the maximum payout per transaction from the Florida Real Estate Recovery Fund. So, if a member of the public suffers real monetary damages because of a licensee's illegal acts, the fund steps in to reimburse them, up to that $50,000 limit. But here is the massive exam takeaway for you. The exact moment that payment is made from the fund, the guilty licensee's license is automatically suspended. And yeah, it stays suspended until they completely repay the fund in full, plus interest. So what does this all mean for you? I'll leave you with this one question. Are you ready to uphold the law and protect the public? Because honestly, the FREC isn't just some annoying obstacle in your way. It's literally the gateway protecting your future profession. So master these statutes, really respect the high stakes of fiduciary duty, and honor those strict timelines. Ultimately, the question isn't just whether you'll pass the test. It's whether you are ready to be the bulletproof professional that Florida demands. You've got this. Go get that passing score.